Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to WoW Live. My name is Tuskeh, and in this video, we're going to play a little bit of catch-up, I think. It's been a few days since I've done anything with WoW Live, which is a bit of a shame, because I've been very busy. I've been just doing stuff, really. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had much of a chance to work on the channel. I have been working on some art assets, though, which I'm looking forward to, and I will hopefully get the Flexwing 4 guide done sometime soon. I will be able to use it as some kind of primer for Warlords of Draenor, which I'm looking forward to doing. But until then, I think it's time to invade the Throne of Thunder. So, we have brought our friend Ross with us. He is playing me so holy. He shall be our healer, our wonderful, wonderful healer. And we shall start with... What shall we start with? Shall we... We'll go... Forgotten Depths. Yeah, hopefully he won't mind. Hopefully. So, it's been a while since I played the Druid. So, I think I'm going to use the opportunity to just double check to see what my rotation is like. So, as far as I'm aware... I'm just going to be doing this kind of thing. Once again, I forget to turn my floating combat text on. There we go. There we go. That's much better. So it looks like we're building Rage, again with our Mangle and with our Lacerate, and then we spend it on Savage Defense, which will pop down here in the middle. Maul, when it pops up, will reduce the damage of the enemy's next attack, which may prove helpful in certain circumstances, but only really if we have too much Rage, because at the moment we're struggling a little bit to keep up with our Rage. So very important that we generate as much rage as we can to spend it on lacerates. Of course, we'll be getting rage from being melee attack too, which you can't really simulate on a training dummy. At the moment, I hear that in Warlords of Draenor, you'll have special training dummies in your garrison that will, you know, take damage if you want to heal it, or that will start hitting back if you're tanking it, which is quite cool. I kind of like that idea. So, that's that. Is there any reason you're doing this one? Because if not, you can queue for 4 at a time. Really? This one because A, done the first in the last video. Whoops, done the first in the last video, and B, because I haven't done the others. I can't type at all. Look at me go. Okay, there we go. So if we're dealing with casters, we of course want to use Fairy Fire as well. Skull Bash for the casters, and our stuns are Shift T and Control T. Wonderful. And we are actually just waiting for one more healer, so this hopefully shouldn't take too long at all. And then 5 and 6 are our AoE tanking spells. And then our cooldowns are Shift 3, Shift 4, Shift 5, and Shift 6. So it's quite... I'd like to think it's quite smartly laid out. And then of course we have access to the instant heal and the instant battle res, which is on Shift F2. So that's all good. I'm looking forward to getting back into the Druid again. I've been playing a lot of the Warrior, and I think he's level 62 now. Been leveling him up fairly fast. I've gone back to Arms again. I seem to keep switching between Arms and Fury with him, because I love how Fury plays, but it's so RNG focused that, unfortunately, I don't enjoy it very much when you're just sitting there not critting, which happens a lot when you're in low gear. So, a new transmog set. Ooh. This is the kind of thing that raiders talk about. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do much in the raid yesterday. We were missing a couple of people. So we just did some old heroics. We did everything up to Shah of Fear heroic. And then we had 10 minutes left, and it was like, oh god, a whole second phase. No thanks. So we will wait for this queue to pop, I think. And I'll edit this out, because no one wants to sit here and listen to me just talk for 20 minutes while we wait. I'd actually just like to take a moment to talk about why I'm doing the Throne of Thunder, when you can see very clearly I have access to the Siege of Orgrimmar. I am doing the Throne of Thunder and not the Siege of Orgrimmar because A, I still need to practice with my Guardian Druid, and B, my item level isn't quite there yet. Like I said in my Boosted 90 guide, I'd want about an item level of 500 before I jumped into the Siege of Orgrimmar, especially as a tank. In fact, I'd say it would be higher as a tank. So, yes, if you've boosted to 90, don't jump straight into the Siege of Orgrimmar, especially if you're an important role like a tank or a healer. Healer less so and DPS less so than that, but especially if you're a tank, which is one of the most kind of high pressure roles when it comes to LFR. Just, you know, take it slow, go through the raids, and just get everything sorted out, you know? Just make sure you know what you're doing, at the very least, before you enter the Siege of Orgrimmar. So here we go into the Throne of Thunder. I've got a new microphone stand, so hopefully this shall be a little bit better audio quality and you'll hear my keyboard a little bit less. So we are currently waiting for our other tank. So here he is here. Let's inspect him. He's sitting... Oh, come on. Come on, inspect, work. There we go. Okay. Hopefully he'll be kind enough. Hey, looks like I'm in slightly better gear. So if it's good with you, I'll main tank. There we go. We want to buff everyone. There is buff. And we want to head into bear form. And get pulling. I'm going to fall straight into the air. Yeah! I am flying bear! There we go. Alright, so we're going to pop bark skin. Taunt you back over. Hopefully get a bit of aggro here. It's going to be difficult to get aggro with lots of AoE. I'm not the best at getting the old AoE aggro at the moment. We'll taunt you. Bloody hell, this paladin is taking a lot of the aggro. We need to move that. Yeah, we're going to need to move that. So, just try and get as much aggro as we can. Because of the gear differences at the moment, it's going to be very difficult to tank everything. Especially when there's so many bloody pets all over the place. And again, I'm just going to quickly edit this. And again, if you are... Okay, you don't want to move. Interesting. Okay. We will use move anything for this then. We don't have much time. Is it boss specific? I believe it's boss... Nope. Dungeons and raids. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's here somewhere. Well, can't sit around and wait. Let's get pulling. Whee! I can fly! So we'll pull you. Yeah, also another thing as a tank, don't dilly-dally. It's not a good idea. So these guys will do a lot of silences, so there'll probably be some times where I'll be taking a fair amount of damage as the tank. So we don't want to take... We want to keep an eye on the health and use a cooldown if we start to panic, because these guys also heal if they hit us while we are low on health, so we don't want that to happen. Looks like the healers are doing a pretty good job of keeping us nice and high. Want to keep up as much of the savage defense as we can. That's going to be annoying. And hey, look, people are nattering on again. What's this guy targeted on? He's targeted on the wolf. We don't want him targeted on the wolf. Come here. Again, if you are a pet class, come on. Sort it out. Turn your pet taunts off. It's very important. It is the worst, literally one of the worst things in the world. There is literally nothing worse in the world of Warcraft than pet taunts as a tank. So, come on, sort it out. Okay, so what I did there is actually a little bit of a technique that you can use as a tank. If you want to turn a whole bunch of NPCs around, or in fact just any NPC, you can jump through them and turn mid-air. If you do that, then you can actually just turn them all around without actually moving them. And of course movement as a tank is very important. Taking quite a hefty amount of damage here, so we'll pop another savage defense. I was about to do that anyway, but I mean, we should be alright to not use bark skin. And so there's a hell of a lot of chat going on in the raid chat at the moment. I'm not really paying much attention to it, but hopefully it's not too important. I see Pikachu, so it can't be that important. So we'll just happily tank these away, then we'll whisper the off-tank. Again, make sure you constantly talking with your off-tank. Or your main tank, depending on who you are. Can we stun this guy? No, we can't. Okay, and I just fat-fingered one of my cooldowns, but that's fine. Alright, you go ahead and tank the boss. I'll get the bats. There we go, and those are overlocked a little bit. That's a bit weird. Okay, tank on bats, tank on boss, range on turtles, melee on bats. That's a good way of describing this fight. Alright, so while we wait for this guy to pull, we will try and find this extra action button. There we go, extra action button. There we go, and then we'll move you to there. There we go, nice and simple. Move anything, a very powerful add-on. Forgot about that search function. I will be. Go ahead and pull when ready. Ignore what the raid is saying. Just stay on Tortos. I'll get the bats. People are trolling. Sorry, arseholing. That's what you want to say. And then we will move forwards. I'm just going to get a little bit of rage off this guy. Don't want to take aggro. Oh, I have aggro. Okay. There we go. Come on, my friend. Take the aggro. I was just auto-attacking there, which is a little bit strange. Okay, so he's going to be taking the boss. I will just sit here and generate a bit of rage. I'll hit a maul on him to reduce the damage he's going to do to the tank. And then I believe we shall have... Here are the turtles. I will try and get a little bit of damage out onto them. And then we'll have a Quake Stomp and lots of bad guys coming along. I can't really melee these too much, so we're just going to sit here and wait for the bats to come along. Try and get some damage out on these, because you can drastically reduce the raid damage if you're able to take out one of these wild turtles and then interrupt a stone breath with it. So here comes both. So this is probably going to hurt a fair amount. So bats are going to be incoming. Got to keep my camera aimed up high. There are the bats. Get the aggro. There is the aggro. And we'll just tank them right here. We can drag them into melee range as well, actually, a little bit. We'll pop some of our spells. We'll pop Berserk to get as much AoE snap threat as we can. And get these guys down. So we'll be taking a fair amount of damage, which means we should get a fair amount of vengeance. So there is the next Quake Stomp. We're good there. We're good. Just going to move out of range of this. Now, an important little note on this fight. These circles that indicate where the stalactites are going to fall. Or maybe it's stalagmites, I forget. Well, whichever. That will... when they actually fall, they'll do an AoE that's larger than that circle. So it's very important that you just get a little bit of range if you can. So here comes the next Furious Stone Breath. Going to pop some cooldowns because I'm going to get hit by a whole bunch of stuff here. So the main thing with this fight is it's very chaotic, and having knowledge of just how it works can be very helpful. So again, just like last time we did in LFR, if you want to know about the mechanics of this place, then I do have a video about it. So I will... Oops! I mistook the Furious Stone Breath for the Quake Stomp, so we can actually kick this next turtle. Oh, nope, someone's already kicked. That's okay. But yes, if you would like to know more about the mechanics of this place, then you can just click the link. There will be a link in the description to this LFR guide. So, oh, we actually missed with both of our spells there. So get over here. Come on, come on, give us the threat, give us the threat. There we go. Okay, we have the threat. There's the Furious Stone Breath. We're going to be taking a bit of damage here, so we'll pop some of our cooldowns. Move these guys over to melee. And we should be good. Get as much aggro as we can. Use another Savage Defense. Get hit by that turtle, but that's fine. Doesn't do too much damage. It's just the knock-up that's more of an annoyance than anything else. Here comes the Quake Stomp, so I'm going to pop another cooldown to help keep myself alive. Knowing what's coming when is very helpful as a tank for reducing the damage you take. Going to throw in a heal for ourselves as well there while we're at it. Looks like the raid is doing pretty good. No one's dead yet, which is nice. And we've got a cooldown from our monk. And here are the next wave of bats, thankfully coming straight to me. Come on, come on, give us the threat, give us the threat. There we go. Very helpful to be constantly changing targets to get aggro on as many as you can. And if one of them slips away, just happily target swap and taunt. Very helpful indeed. So here comes the next Furious Stone Breath. We will pop Enrage Regeneration to survive this one. Although we have just finished tanking, so we should be good. Next bats will be in 8 seconds. Again, my bigwig's telling me what's going on there. Additionally, this rogue has Tricks of the Trades me, which is very helpful indeed. So, Mr. Rogue, props to you for doing that. So these bats are directly above us. They're just going around here. We will grab as much threat as we can. There is the threat. We just missed our taunt, but there we go. We use them all to get a little bit more threat. Come on, come on. There we go. So it looks like the range is starting to struggle a little bit on keeping control of the turtles, but that's okay. Tortos is on 20 million. He is about to die. So we'll just happily keep tanking these guys. We'll use another Savage Defense just to round out the fight. So this rogue, I have to say, has been very helpful with gathering these bats. So there goes the first boss, and I will happily whisper you and say thanks for the tricks. Really helpful. There we go. So again, if you're in an LFR and you see people do things like that, and you see things going well, and you see who's doing it, thank them. It's very good. These people will feel very good when they realize, hey, they're doing this stuff right. Someone realizes that they're doing this stuff right. Awesome. So that's very important. Make sure you do that. So I'm just going to run through some of these mushrooms. I'm going to take a little bit of damage. Well, I think I was, but apparently I'm just not going to. But yeah, important to take those as a tank. Not so important on LFR, but helpful more than anything else. So, this section of the place is going to be interesting. So we will combine a Fairy Fire with a Taunt to keep aggro on you while we're on global cooldown. And just keep an eye on everyone. Looks like no one's running ahead, that's nice. Gonna happily smack things around. Looks like we're all good. We'll use a Thrash. And there's our first Savage Defense. This guy doesn't really do much. He slowly gains more and more damage, so if you're not focusing him down, then... Oh, I want to interrupt that. Oh, I missed it. That's okay, though. It turns out he put the magical debuff on the only person in the raid that I actually trust to dispel, so that's good. So we will jump in here and aggro everything here. So we're going to have quite a bit here. We will pop the Berserk and our Bark Skin, and we'll pop Berserking as well. Not the best idea to click it, but that's okay. We want to keep an eye out for this Sonic Call here. We want to interrupt that. Sonic Call is very important because it will summon a whole bunch of ads, and we don't want that happening. It looks like we're all good on the ad front at the moment. We've got 3 seconds on our next interrupt. We should be able to interrupt him if he decides to cast again. Can we stun him? We can. Good, so we stunned him, so he should cast it now. Yep. Next interrupt is out. Lovely jubbly. Not too worried about the Crystal Barbs. That's fine. And the Cavern Burrower is dead. Now, again, just as a note, if the Cavern Burrower casts that Sonic Call, then he summons like 6 or 7 ads, which is more of just an annoyance than anything else. It can get a little bit hectic if that happens alongside everything else that's happening. So, very important to interrupt it if you can. Okay, so it looks like we've got a little bit of a few ads here. That's fine. Do we have Berserk for it? We don't. That's okay, but we do have a Cavern Burrower. So we want to get aggro on you. If we can, come here. There we go. And who... Okay, so it looks like the other tank has aggro on the Eternal Guardian. Very important that you have target available so you can see who is doing what. So I don't need to tank that Eternal Guardian. Oh, especially now that it's dead. But I didn't need to tank it while the other tank was dealing with it. So that's good. So we will throw a stun out to you. Looks like the other tank is taunted. That's just fine. That means we can focus entirely upon interrupting. He should start casting any second now. Okay, maybe not. And now we are going to go on a little journey. So this is the path that you take if you want to go around here without aggroing too much. So you go down and around here. Of course, if you are a tank, you want to watch out for people pulling extra mobs. You want to tank them immediately and bring them with the raid. Much like this. You want to have this stuff ready. Come on, come on. Get as much aggro as we can. Looks like the raid has split up somewhat. So we are going to pop all of our cooldowns here and use our Savage Roar to get a bit of distance. He did get the cavern, the call off, but I think it's more important that we stay alive at the moment. Looks like the other tank has got plenty of aggro, and he just died. So this is going to be interesting. We want to pop as many of our cooldowns as we can at this point. Okay, so we just want to hold this. Here comes another one. Taunt you. We're going to be taking a lot of damage, but thankfully we are the only tank alive at the moment, so we should be good. Oh, very nice stun from the Death Knight coming out there. Use our next Savage Defense. Get as much threat as we can to one. Next Savage Defense. Looks like we've avoided the worst of the damage. And we should be good. And we'll just interrupt that Choking Mist. That Choking Mist is also an annoyance, and we'll interrupt you with a stun. Choking Mist is also an annoyance. It will actually just incapacitate someone entirely, and that thing is probably going to aggro, so we'll pull it. It may not have aggroed there, but I'd rather not risk it, so we'll just pull you. Again, if you're a tank and you're not sure whether or not something is going to aggro, don't take the risk. Unless you're in a very well-coordinated group, and say on Vent, you can just say, hey, you know, run away from this thing that's about to aggro. But in an LFR, you can't do that, so just assume that it's going to aggro and pull it yourself. If you're the one that pulls it, you get the aggro early, and you get to, you know, tank it, as opposed to it going and murdering a DPS, or even worse, a healer. Okay, so who is lagging behind right now? It looks like Wargiver, I'm not sure if he died or not, is going to be lagging behind a little bit. So we do have one person behind, but that's fine. Again, going to assume that this guy is going to aggro, so we'll pull the both of you. We'll pop Berserking to get a little bit of aggro. And we'll also combine it with a Savage Defense and a Maul. And then we'll interrupt that Choking Mist. Here comes another guy. Again, going to assume that it's going to aggro. Going to get one last mangle off before Berserking falls off. Going to use our Enrage again. I think it's very important that we use our Enrage as much as we can. It's a very good way of generating aggro. So let's see. We want to start by prioritizing the Choking Mists from this guy, because that will just incapacitate people. And if it incapacitates the healers, then we're in trouble, because we want as much healing as we can. So it looks like we are starting to lose a bit of aggro on this Eternal Guardian. Not sure if that's because of the other tank. Again, it may actually be quite helpful to get a something like Omen, some kind of threat meter, maybe in the corner here, to go with it. So we'll think about that maybe in the future, but for now, we'll just continue. And take these guys, and we will move on. Again, we'll aggro this Mist Lurker, because just going to assume that someone is going to aggro it. Generally, this will happen every time, because people will think, hey, no one's going to aggro it, we'll just run past it. And then someone will aggro it, probably near the end of the group of people. Whoops, took aggro back from the other tank there. Didn't need to. We'll stun you. But yeah, someone will normally take aggro near the back. And if there's no tank there, then they'll probably just die. So, very important that you just assume that someone is going to aggro. So there we go, cleared the way. Made a nice big path for people. And then we're going to head round here. So, going to keep moving. But we also want to keep an eye behind us, because this Mist Lurker over here is moving away for now. But he may end up aggroing on some people as they run past. So we're just going to move here. We will just keep an eye behind us. Looks like someone is lagging behind. Someone has pulled here, so just going to grab you. Face you away from the raid. Looks like we didn't pull anyone. That's nice. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. So there's the Mist Lurker in the background. Looks like no one aggroed, so we can happily just continue at this point. The other tank has aggro. That's just fine. That's just fine. Not too worried. No worries. So this mage apologized for accidentally pulling. That's just fine. You know, people make mistakes. It's when people make mistakes and they don't realize that they've made mistakes that you have a problem. Well, actually, I take that back. It's not when people don't realize they've made mistakes. It's when people realize they've made mistakes and then do nothing to correct them. That's where the problem lies. So we will stun you. Okay, we won't. And looks like he's got lots of aggro. We're sharing this, and oh, he did not aggro. I probably would have pulled him had I been in the right position to, but I'm in a little bit of an awkward position. Should be able to interrupt that prison. There we go. Very nice. Okay. So we will interrupt you. Keep an eye on this fungal growth as it heads back. It should just turn around, but if it doesn't, then we will want to aggro it. Okay, looks like it's not going to. So, someone smacked the bell, and Megira rises from the mist. So it's Hydra time. So let's move on. Now, what you want to do down here is you want to just jump straight down. You don't... well, you could do that, I suppose. That certainly works. And we have a nice Path of Frost to help us out here. Thank you, Death Knights. Again, Path of Frost, wonderful here. Or, you know, water walking if you're a shaman, but that would take, you know, forever. Okay. So there we go. So, with this fight, we want to put up a... we want to put up two markers. We'll put a marker here and a marker here. Yeah. Good idea. We'll just clear out these guys before the boss. Aggro a few of you folks. Because these guys have a habit of aggroing during the fight. So Miso Holy there. Mr. Ross having a very good point. Want to aggro you. Oh, we wasted our interrupt there. That's a little bit of a shame, but hopefully we'll be alright. There are a few loose ones there. We'll grab one if we can. We'll grab the one that's about to die. Of course we will. There is Sonic Call. We don't have an interrupt, but we do have a stun. Again, you know, if you think that you can't get an interrupt off, just try and stun instead. And normally by the time the stun is off, the interrupt will be back up, if you've timed it correctly at least. So we'll aggro a couple more. You guys, we'll aggro you, and we'll aggro you. And then we should be pretty safe. And, okay, looks like the other tank has got threat on this guy, so we can interrupt. Okay, looks like we won't get into interrupt, but that's fine. So how are we going to handle this? We will talk to you. If you go on the blue head, I'll take the other ones. There we go. I am very close to sneezing, so if I do, I apologize. I will attempt to mitigate it as much as I can, but this is live. So, hopefully, I won't sneeze, but it might happen. I can feel it. It's on the very edge of sneezing. It's annoying, but that's fine. So, just waiting for the other tank to agree with the technique. And... okay. Right. Looks like he's gone with it. We'll just throw a ready check in to let people know that we're about to start. And here we go. So these guys, one of the first things they do is they will do a breath. So make sure to face them away from the raid. Thank you for reminding me. Lovely rogue who is doing all the tricks. So we'll aggro and then charge in. So we've got aggro on you. We may take both breaths at the start here. Again, why? That's why having a... okay, there we go. Again, that's why having a countdown timer may be helpful, but it's also important to remember that everyone that doesn't have something like Bigwigs or DBM will not get that countdown timer. So all these guys do is they will just do this breath. This will periodically reduce my... well, increase the damage taken, not just reduce my armor, but increase the damage I take in general. But these guys will probably die fairly fast, so not too much of a big deal. So we will just happily smack you around. This probably isn't going to be too interesting a fight as a tank. So we will grab you. There we go. Probably shouldn't have moved that fast, but we should be good. And now the next one will spawn. We'll grab aggro, but he's not actually going to do anything for a little while. We'll just want to get into position. Oh, and just as a note, if you do jump into the water like this is all that happens. You just get knocked out. See that? You just get knocked out. You don't go too far, so it's not too big of a big deal, but try not to jump into the water. So we'll just get aggro on you. And just keep ourselves alive, really. It's not going to be... a lot of the damage coming from this is the breaths, especially if you leave them up for too long. So other than that, we should be good. So here is the Ignite Flesh. I believe this is a dot. Yeah, 16,000 every second. Yeah. So it's not that big of a deal, especially considering the fact that this guy is nearly dead. So this is a good point, I think, to talk about DPSs. Now, DPSs, I'm just going to use my Savage Roar to get people over. Very important to note, DPSs, that the stronger the DPS is, the easier every fight becomes. Because the more you can DPS something, you know, the less you'll have in terms of mechanics. You know, the less times you'll enter a phase, the less times you'll have a certain mechanic, and the less damage that will go out. The quicker a fight is, the less damage the bosses will do overall. So, I hear a lot of people say things like, oh, you know, DPS is a very greedy role, that it doesn't really help the raid in any kind of way. DPS is a very important role, and it's important that you remember that, because, yeah, your goal as a DPSer is not just to top the damage meters. Your goal as a DPSer is to make the fight easier by making it go quicker. So, yeah, make sure you do that. It's not so much of a big deal in LFR. I mean, it happens in LFR. I mean, if you have really strong DPSs here, then it's really great, because like they barely get to cast any of their breaths. They barely get to do anything, really. So, important that you have nice, strong DPSs. It can be very helpful, but, you know, just try to think less about topping the meters and more about, you know, helping the raid succeed. So we will just keep hitting you. This isn't the most exciting of fights. G-Kun may be a little bit more interesting because I get the feeling I'm going to go on nest duty. Although I don't know. No, you don't need a tank on the nests. So no, I won't be going on nest duty. So that fight will probably be quite boring as well. But yeah, a lot of the tank's most interesting points come from their tanking of trash. So it looks like we're taking a fair amount of damage. We'll pop a bark skin to help stabilize ourselves a little bit. But that's just fine. Gonna hit you in the face. Not a big deal. Now, you'll notice I'm not really explaining mechanics too much. Oops, you took a breath there, but that's fine. You'll notice I'm not really explaining mechanics too much. That's because there are quite a lot of them. And I'm only really focusing on the ones that will really affect the tanks. So, just, if you want to know the mechanics, there is a link in the description below. Very important. Know the mechanics if you're a tank. Well, actually, know the mechanics if you're anyone, but it's especially important on a tank. Know the mechanics and you will do a lot better. So there we go. So moving on, we shall continue to tank this. It's not the most interesting thing in the world, and I'm not a Let's Player. I can't just talk about something random. I've been watching a lot of Toby games recently. That's happened. Me and the family have been watching a lot of Toby games play things like Happy Wheels and stuff, and I can certainly see the appeal of Let's Plays. It's not my thing in terms of making them, but I can certainly see them be very fun to play. Ray takes a bit of damage there, but that's fine. We'll use another Savage Roar to get people over here. And then I think we will use a Tranquility. Also, as Tranquility doesn't just do instant healing, it actually just puts a stacking halt on people, so it can be very helpful. We'll pop a Berserk to get a bit more aggro on you after this enrage ends. But yes, what was I saying? I'm not a Let's Player, so I can't just sit here and talk endlessly. I'm trying my best, but I do struggle just to talk endlessly because, I mean, I am also playing the game and I want to play it to a certain degree of skill. I mean, I know it's only LFR, but I do want to play it to a certain degree of skill. There's that 7-minute thing again. I'm not sure what that is. Is that Tranquility? I'll have to have a look at the video after this ends. But yes, like I said, I'm not really great at talking non-stop, and I want to play this to a certain degree of skill, so I do apologize if I end up not talking too much or if I just sit here in silence for a minute or so, because I am just trying to play the game. And, you know, this is WoW Live. It's designed to show you what it's like to be a tank in these raids. And sometimes the truth of it can be that tanking can be fairly boring. So Rampage will end in a few seconds. We want to get ready with our cooldowns. They don't increase in damage. The raid damage will generally increase, but the tank damage won't, so it's not that big of a deal. It's not where the main challenge of the fight lies. We'll use another Savage Defense. Here comes the next Rot Armor. That's fine. Savage Defense won't help against Rot Armor, but we get some passive damage reduction from magic, so that's fine. Just looking at Bagheera's health, I'm pretty sure this is the last head, so we should be all good. Raid's taking a fair amount of damage, but that's not a big deal. Actually dealing with the cinders properly there, that's really cool. Really cool indeed, so actually I'm really happy about that. So this raid team seems to be pretty good. So there we go, there is Bagheera. Got the Sigil of Power. No loot, but that's just fine. And we'll, do we have Savage Roar available? 3, a 2, a 1, there we go. It was boring! There we go. So we'll just aggro you. Make sure to take aggro on this guy. Just take aggro on him, because he is one of those guys that will pretty much just always aggro. So yeah, it looks like our friendly healer from the guild is very happy with that fight, which is good. I'm glad he enjoyed it. I certainly didn't. I just got sat there and breathed on constantly by giant snakes, but that's fine. That's just fine. That fight I actually quite enjoy to DPS, especially as a ranged DPS. I do like my ranged DPS much more than melee. I don't know why, I just do. Although, you know, I'm going to be playing them all to a certain degree in Warlords, so nothing we can really do about that. Not that I don't like melee. I do like melee. I like being, you know, like a warrior. Woo! Life gripped. Was that me so holy? It was. After that whole debacle in the first wing with all those life grips, we'll pop dash, I think. Keep ahead of the raid here. Now. Oh, excuse me. This next area is very important because there's a lot of hidden trash here. Standing on things like, for instance, this web. Here comes giant spider. Very important to note that if you stand on things like these glowing bones here, or the spider webs, there's one just in the distance there, then you will spawn a mob. And so it is very, very important that the tanks keep an eye on the mobs and where people are and when they spawn. So these corpse spiders actually do a web spray. I'm surprised I didn't get stunned by that first one, but it does stun people. And I'm actually going to activate this guy because I just charged directly over him, but that's fine. Better I do it than anyone else. Or I suppose the tank would be fine. So just keep an eye on the raid and let them do their thing. Let them DPS away. Make sure you hold aggro and keep an eye just on where everyone is. I wonder what's up there. Looks like the corridor just ends. Oh yeah, it's all collapsed. That's a shame. Having a nice circle would be cool. So we'll move forwards. Oh, someone has got Aspect of the Pack on. It looks like people are dealing with it. Please turn Aspect of the Pack off. Smiley face. There we go. Thanks. Okay, and oh, looks like right behind us we have a corpse spider. Someone decided to go through there. We'll grab aggro on you and face him into the wall. One of the first things we want to do. A few things to note. You'll notice there that I noticed the mob had spawned, not because I saw it, but because I saw one of the Discipline Priests casting Penance. I saw that fly past me, and I thought, well, that means someone's in combat, and I turned and looked. And that's how I noticed it. So very important that you get that sorted. So, for this fight, we are going to use Moonfire, and maybe Wrath. Don't want to aggro this Boarworm on the left here. Oh, but it looks like you guys want to. So we'll grab the Boarworm and just tank him out here to the side of the raid. Get him out of range of this gastropod. So if you go near this gastropod, you instantly die. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4 people died. Although it looks like our other tank has actually DC'd. So this may be a little bit of a problem. So we'll aggro you. So we're the only tank going on at the moment. We'll give him until the next boss. Oh no, he just left the group. Okay. So thankfully we're on trash and not on a boss, so we don't have to wait too much. Look at these guys. Watch your step, guys. Keeping an eye on things. I like this raid team. So we'll use Salvage Raw to move things on while we wait for another tank. So thankfully we can continue here without having to wait. So if you do need to leave as a tank, don't leave right before a boss. That will just slow the raid down significantly. Just going to throw some wraths out here. Going to waste all of our mana. That's fine though. Use another Fairy Swarm. And we're just going to sit here and wait. How many people are going to die? We'll just run past them. Just go around the side. So this is about the range you want to be at. You can go around him like that if he's on one side and you're on the other. But generally I wouldn't risk it otherwise. Alright, looks like no one died. That's nice. Wargiver died though. Looks like he's getting raised. Okay, that's good. My voodoo tells me if their name is in green there. That means they're going to get raised by someone else. So that's good. So, whoops. Gonna charge on ahead. Aggro this Bowfly Swarm here. I don't think these guys really do anything when it comes to... Oh, hello. Okay. Okay. So we want to jump like this. And grab aggro. So that Bowfly Swarm doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't... It just sits there and spams raid damage. You can't tank it. So, very important that we get aggro on the things we can tank, like this Corpse Spider. Not this Gastropod, though. We cannot tank this Gastropod. Is it coming towards me? It is. Okay, so we're going to run away. We're going to strafe to try and avoid this thing attacking us from behind. And it looks like the Gastropod is going upstairs, so that's good. There is Web Spray, but we're good. So it looks like people are focusing the Gastropod. That's good. That's what you want to focus. We'll throw Moonfire on the both of these guys. Look, I'm a balanced druid. But until then, we're just going to sit back and wait. You can melee these guys. It is possible. It is doable. But it's not something you really want to risk. Because it puts you very, very close to being in range of insta-death. And again, you can just hop that gap. You don't have to jump down. You can hop the gap. So I'm going to use another Savage Roar to keep up. It looks like we don't have any serious threats here. I don't see anything I can tank. So just going to throw some damage out onto this Bowfly Swarm. Get a little bit close and use a Thrash. Oh my goodness, that Boarworm came out of bloody nowhere. Not noticing that one. A little bit of a mistake on my part, but we have aggro on him now. And it looks like we don't have anything else at the moment. People are going to focus the Gastropod, as they should. And we should hopefully take out the Bowfly Swarms. So, where are potential threats? There is a potential threat in the corner here. This is where one mob can spawn. And there is a potential threat if I just pan over near where we will jump down to the boss. So very important that we keep an eye on where the mobs will spawn from. Because if someone goes over there, we get advanced warning. So we're just going to happily hit you. What's our vengeance at? Ooh, 20,000. That's probably not a lot. I don't know much about vengeance, but yay, attack power. Enjoy it while it lasts, tanks. It's not lasting long. We've only got a couple of months, and I'm looking forward to Warlords, I have to say. Very looking forward to it. Ooh, 100,000 crit. That's nice. Okay. So we're just going to keep an eye on people here. Let them ferry past us towards G-Kun, the next boss. The last boss of this wing. Okay, looks like this guy is getting very close to this evil death pit trap. Is he going to aggro it? No. You lucky bugger, you warlock. You very lucky bugger, I have to say. Okay, so you get automatically jumped if you go near, so that's fine. Very important to do that last as the tank, because you can't actually get back up there easily. In fact, I don't think you can get back up there at all, you know, short of dying, so don't do that. Okay, where is our other tank? Who is our other tank? I'm not sure how to find this. Maybe our raid frames will tell us. Oh my. Looks... Let's have a look. Where is our other tank? There is a way to find him. There must be. Where are you? Where are you, tanks? I will just scroll through you all if I have to. This is why you should set up Voodoo to show who is, they're just a filter by role. Looks like we're missing the other tank. There we go. I will mark you as star. Looks like we're missing the other tank. Could try to one-tank it. Not very confident. Could try to one-tank it, but I'm not too confident in doing it. Oh well, the stacking debuff gets pretty bad. I could try it, but I'm not, like I said, not too confident doing so. Yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, let's give it a bit. Hopefully it won't be too long. So, like I said, it is generally a good idea to wait. I'm not sure what this raid finder thing is telling us. It tells us that we have 2 tanks. It's more my gear. That's my problem at the moment. Like I said, I know what I'm doing. At least I think I know what I'm doing. If I'm making mistakes, you guys are more than welcome to let me know. But I'm only sitting on 497 here. I'm not too confident with how much I can survive this. Ah, I have this Fortitude of the Zandalari. I should put this somewhere. So Shift 6 is our increasing dodge. We'll put you on Shift E then. That's a nice available... Oh. Bleh. Oh, Ross. You're such a troll. Lock tanking. Warlocks are not tanks. Sorry. They're not. So we'll just sit here and wait a bit. And I will edit this out. Because I'm just literally going to sit here and wait. I do have to say, though, that I think this pug is going quite well. It seems like there's quite a nice atmosphere going on here, which is a little bit surprising, I have to say. But yeah, this friendly atmosphere that's been going on in the raid chat seems to have kept people going. Holy hell! Gave me a heart attack there. That looks like we have our off tank. I sit here for 5 minutes, my friend, waiting for a tank. You could just have done that. Very important. All right, that'll do. Pulling. Let's do this. Alright, so that happened. So that went well. Oh well. Alright, so it's the Talon Rake that's really going to hit us hard. Also, as a note, this guy doesn't move from the center of her nest, so important that we don't move too far away. So we have Bloodlusted. Here is the first Talon Rake. Slash. So that will increase the damage we take by 50% of it. It hurts. It really hurts. So this is going to be all about survival. So this should be interesting. When's the next Talon Rake? 4, 3, 2. It's going to be after this feed young. So we'll pop Bark Skin to help survive this one, because this one is probably going to chunk us. Yep. Infected Talons, we're currently taking 120,000 damage every second. I probably should have mentioned when to taunt swap, so we will target you while he's doing that. Taunt when ready. There is the next Talon Rake. Oh, we did not have a cooldown available for that one. Next time we're going to need one, or that will kill us. So hopefully this other tank will decide to do his whole tanky thing. There we go. He can take the other Talon Rakes for now. I don't want to hit too hard, because I had to look at this guy's gear pretty quickly. Oh, there's the downdraft. Very important that you run against this downdraft. Savage Raw helps a lot. Just going to hide this as I do this. Whee! There we go. Taunt when your debuff comes off. Would have helped if I'd done this beforehand, but that's fine. Gonna wait 15 more seconds. He's probably gonna take another one. It's gonna get him extremely low. But after that, I should be able to taunt swap, because he only does it every now and then. Next, Talon Rake is in 18 seconds. Okay, I can tank now. So we'll get some Some threat on you. We'll just go and sit here. And we will just sit here and wait. Taking a lot of the damage here. This boss hits very hard. So, important that we just try and mitigate as much of it as we can. Let's stop skimping on our... Oh, you took aggro again. No, we don't want that. No. Don't want aggro on that. Thankfully, you didn't have too many stacks, but that's fine. We're fine. Everything is fine. We will just continue. We'll use another bark skin. Next talon raid coming in 6 seconds. So we'll use our trinket first, I think. Yay, maximum health. Hey, that one didn't hurt too badly. That was actually our first one. So there we go. We'll use another savage defense. Sitting on 40%. It's all about survival at this point, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we want to do. Use another one of these. Next talon rake in 9 seconds. What are we going to use? We'll use our survival instincts. Oh! Use another savage roar here. Savage roar, really great for this. You want to charge directly towards him, and if you start falling backwards, then you just want to charge into him. Ooh, that one stung quite heavily, but that's fine. That's fine, we're doing alright. We'll use another savage defense, combine it with a bark skin to keep ourselves nice and stable so the healers don't have any more problems. So we'll happily just hit you about. Next talon rake in 5, 4, savage defense, and we'll combine that with a survival instinct to take half damage from this one. So that one didn't hurt too badly. And we'll then use a tranquility to help with his quills. We'll cut this off after this tick here, just to make sure we're in bear form for this next melee attack. We definitely do not want him to be meleeing us while we're not in bear form, because that would be the end of the actual world. Next talon rake coming in. Used our bark skin there. We should be pretty good. And then gonna keep hitting you. Gonna throw in a fairy fire as well. I should be using fairy fire more, I think. And then next talon rake will be coming in 9 seconds. So we'll pop another savage defense. And then for this one, I think we will use our Might of Ursok, which will increase our maximum health. Oh, that one stung! So, yep, I think he realised after my health chunked that badly that it's time for him to do it. So there we go. He'll be taking the boss for the rest of this, so we will go, I think, into cat form and just smack him about a bit. We'll use our next savage roar. Combine that with a dash. Ooh. He seems to be targeting me. That's okay, though. That's good. Okay, we're good. And there we go. We have successfully executed the fight. Hey, and we got leggings. Lovely jubbly. Thanks, folks. Smiley face. Alright, looks like we are good. And we will leave that group. So that will conclude this video. We are going to jump immediately into the next one after this. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, all that stuff, make sure you let me know in the description below. There will be links there to contact me, or you can just leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any feedback, I'd really like to know. I want to improve. So once again, I will say it once more. That's a piece of feedback right there, isn't it? Stop repeating yourself. I'll try to keep that in mind. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ah! Bloody hell!